Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm Miss Lisa, and this is my YouTube channel where we talk about everything that I want to, science and math. And this is biology class. Today we are going to start our unit on plants. I pushed this to the spring so that you would be able to, if you're taking this as a class for the biology homeschool class, so that you could go out and get leaves, you could get flowers, and the book had it that we're following had it in the middle of the year, and that doesn't make sense because nothing is blooming when you would be doing it. So we skipped it, we went to genetics, and now we've come back. Another thing I'm going to say is that we are going to have 4 more weeks of this class, this one on plants. We skipped evolution. If you want to hear me talk about evolution, you pay me money, a speaker's fee, I will come speak to your homeschool group or whatever. But I'm just not going to do a YouTube video. It's too controversial, and we need to be face-to-face to talk about it. And the other thing is, and there's lots of other people who can come speak about it too. So I'm not the only one. So you can find out about it, but you're going to have to do that more on your own. You can read what's in the book if you want to or not. But that's up to you. So we're going to talk about chapter 19, plants. Now there is another part to the book that is about environmentalism, and environmentalism you can take a whole class on. It talks about populations, community, biomes, ecosystems, ecological problems. All that's interesting, but I designed this class to fit within a calendar school year, and we're not going to have time to get to that. So if you want to read that, go for it. At the public school I teach at now, we do a whole class on ecology. But I think when I was originally hired, I think I was going to teach it. No, I was going to teach zoology. But what I'm teaching is chemistry and physics. So anyway, I have a good friend who teaches it and thinks it's really fun. I prefer teaching physics, what's called the physical sciences, which is physics and chemistry, to the life sciences. I have a teacher friend who calls them the squishy sciences. I enjoy studying biology, and I'm enjoying this. I enjoy teaching my homeschool class on it. But it's not my favorite. I really like what's more the hard sciences that have more math, because I like math. That's why I got all the YouTube math classes in there, is I like the ones that are a little bit more mathy, because math is great, remember? But anyway, so if you want to read the environmental stuff, go for it. Great summer reading, but we're going to be finished we'll be finishing right at end of April, beginning of May, and that's it. We're going to be done. I make this class less than 40 weeks, more like 38 weeks. So that's all we're going to have time to do. Sorry. All right, so what we're talking about now? Plants, our last unit. So we're going to start with talking about the importance of leaves. Why are leaves so important? Because leaves are the thing that makes life possible. I always say that. If it wasn't for water, there'd be no life. If it wasn't for carbon, there'd be no life. If there wasn't for leaves, there'd be no life. Because leaves are the thing that takes the sun's radiant energy and converts it to food for us and other living things. So where is that done? In the leaves. So we talked about the cell parts at the very beginning of this year. We talked about how plant cells and animal cells differ. Plant cells have cell walls, and they also have chlorophyll in chloroplast. It's the green part of plants that trap the sunlight energy and use it plus carbon dioxide to make sugar, which is food for us and everything else. You're like, I don't eat plants. I just eat hamburgers. Well, the cow ate the grass and grass is leaves that capture that energy. So all life is dependent on leaves undergoing a chemical process called photosynthesis to turn sunlight into food. So that's why leaves are so important. Now they come in different shapes. You can have flat leaves like an oak leaf. You can have skinny leaves like grass blades. You can have underwater leaves like kelp. You can have tiny little leaves on the forest floor like that we learned about at the very beginning when we learned about mosses and liverworts and things like that. We learned about all kinds of leaves. Now, a lot of leaves have one sort of like vein down the middle that's called the midrib. Some of them have ribs that go all throughout, and that they have that it's called venation. And they've got parallel venation. That would be corn and grass and things like that. And the difference of these also has to do with their seeds. And I think we already talked about, or maybe we're going to talk about, dicots and monocots. So monocots are those seeds like corn that if you bite them with your teeth very carefully, it doesn't break into symmetrical halves. Dicots or dicotyledons or monocotyledons, those are fun to say. Dicots are things like peanuts. Have you ever bit a peanut in half and seen the little embryo plant inside and how it splits in half? Well, things that have that, where the seeds break in half, they are more likely to have the midrib with the veins coming off. Things where they all go straight with this parallel venation like grass and corn, they don't bite in half, like they're the monocots, where the other ones are the dicots. So that's kind of interesting to know about. Now, in your important part of the plant that's not just in the leaves, it's also in the stem, is something called xylem and phloem. And these are what these ribs are made out of, these veins. And they're the things that carry the food that's made in the leaves down throughout the rest of the plant, and the water up through the plant, out of the ground, out to the leaves. So phloem is the part that carries food, and xylem carries water, food and water. So I remember phloem, food, because they both sound like they start with an F, but phloem is actually a PH. So the xylem and phloem in trees that have rings, that's where the rings come from, is the xylem and phloem also. But anyway, these are like the veins that go through for transport. Another thing that's important about the leaves is they have a waxy layer on top so they don't dry out. Underneath they have these little holes that open and close for gas exchange. Plants have to take in carbon dioxide so they can turn that carbon into sugar, and they give off as a waste product, very important for us, oxygen. So the plants are the things that produce oxygen for us to breathe. Once again, no life without it. And the leaves are the things that produce that oxygen, but they produce it as a waste product, just like how we produce carbon dioxide as a waste product. We breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide for waste. Well, when you breathe in, 80% of the air roughly is nitrogen. 20% roughly, because we know there's other gases, is oxygen. We use about 5% of that oxygen per breath, and we breathe out about 5% carbon dioxide for the plants. It's almost like it was designed that way, isn't it? The way we need oxygen, they give off oxygen for waste. They need carbon dioxide, we give off carbon dioxide for waste. Perfection. So that's part of it. So anyway, on the bottom there's these little openings, these pores that open and close, and the part that open, and these are called stomata, and the thing that opens and closes are called guard cells. So you'll learn more about that. You also have like sort of an airy layer to the leaf with air spaces. It has waxy layers on it. Okay, stomata, guard cells. I think we talked about everything we needed to there. All right. The skin is also called epidermis. So plants also have an upper epidermis and a lower epidermis. It's like sort of like their skin, and it protects them just like ours protects us. The palisade layer is beneath the epidermis, and that's where the food is made. And remember, food is made in the chloroplast that are filled with chlorophyll, the green stuff. Okay, we talked about all that. If a plant doesn't have enough water, it wilts, and that causes those guard cells to close, holding in the water in the plant. And I really don't have a green thumb. My mother-in-law, she can grow anything. My dad could grow anything. it must not be genetic from my dad because I didn't get it. I try. I always do gardens, and some years I do all right, and some years not. But my dad, he never had a bad year gardening. He always could grow anything he wanted to. He was a great gardener. He passed away. That's what I'm saying was. This is not that he gave it up. He gardened up to his death. Probably gardened the day before he died. Anyway. Also, we use plants for more than just food. We use wood for raw materials. We build our houses and furniture and stuff out of it, so that's really important too. We use plant parts for rope, for clothes. I'm wearing cotton. That's from fibers from plants. So plants are extremely important in everything we make. We can also make solvents and stuff like pine sol, cleaners, all kinds of things. There's medicines from plants. Very important. You can read a lot about that in your book. Okay, so your book talks about photosynthesis is how the plants turn sunlight into sugar. And so 6 carbon dioxides and 6 waters is what goes in, and what comes out is a molecule of sugar and 6 molecules of oxygen. Now, I took a class in science called molecular cellular biology. It was a biochem class. And boy, did we learn about photosynthesis. We learned about what all the little hydrogens do. So there is way more to learn about this, where you can take a whole class just on photosynthesis, a chemistry class. It wasn't my favorite, but maybe you'll like it. Don't let me rain on your parade. If you want to be a biochemist, you go for it. I like teaching it. I don't really like doing it. That's why I don't work in a lab and I work as a teacher. Like Jack Black said, those who can't do, teach. I could do. My degree is in science. It's a biochem degree. But I just don't like it. It's all quiet in a lab. I've done it. I worked in a lab with the test tubes and the science and stuff. And I think it's more fun to have a bunch of teenagers and let's all blow something up together and make it turn orange. That's more fun. And I'm all about the fun in my career. I wanted to pick something I thought was fun. So I like teaching. It's very fun. All right, so you'll read more about that. And then, of course, that sugar is our food. Animals depend on plants. All animals, we all eat plants. And then some animals eat other animals that eat plants. But the food chain all starts with the sunlight being turned into sugar. Leaves are very important also just for like spices and stuff like that. Leaves can change. They can turn colors in the fall as they are shedding pigment, and you get to see other colors. That's really interesting. We have a lab that you get to do with what pigments are found in leaves. You take a leaf, you roll a coin over the leaf, making pigment, and then you put it in, I think you're going to use alcohol, rubbing alcohol for your solvent, and it'll spread the pigments out. It's really interesting. We did it last year. I forget what kind of leaf we used last year, but I know I've used turnip greens before, and those work great, collard greens, but probably any dark green leaf like spinach. I bet spinach will work great too for that lab. All right, come back next time and we will talk about plant support and transport. So we've talked about leaves. Now we're going to talk about sticks. Yay! Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time.